Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. From Mailroom to Corner Office, A Banker's Journey by Dr. R. Srinivasan. Cover page of the book. Today, that is 13th May 2025, I am sharing episode number 5. YouTube link of episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and episode 4. Early work experiences. And so my working life began. Luckily at the time, 1947, the same Seshadri who invited my father from our village to Madras with an offer of a job was the manager of an insurance company called Sunshine Insurance Company Limited, located at 39 Second Line Beach. At my mother's request, he allowed me to work in his office on a monthly salary of rupees 30. I remember joining the office somewhere in the middle of a month. At the end of the month, he told me that it would be very risky for me to take money home and that he would bring it and give it to my mother. In the following 2 more months, I was asked by him to give a receipt for the salary receipt. I understood that he did not pass on the money to my mother as promised. By that time, he was not doing well in the company and he was asked to step down. Automatically, my association with Sunshine Insurance also came to an end. Seshadri was not of good character and was perhaps sacked for that reason rather than the poor performance of the company under him. Much later, when I was in another job, one day he came to me and asked for some money as a loan. At that time, I had only rupees 6 with me, which he took and never repaid. During the short period I was working in the said insurance company, an interesting incident took place. The said insurance company had a current account with Bank of India in Armenian Street, Madras. I was given a check drawn on the bank and was asked to go and get cash. I went to the bank, presented the check for payment of cash, collected a brass token, and waited timidly to the public area to be called when the cash was ready. While waiting, I was dreaming how it would be if I got a chance to work in a bank like that. The people behind the polished brass counters made a great impression in my mind. I could have never imagined that 40 years later I would be chairman of the same bank by which time the polished brass counters would have disappeared. My father's cousin sister, Patta Athai, was a venerable lady. Her husband was C. Ranganatha Iyengar, Seer. He was a retired headmaster of a board high school in Anantapur. This was in the undivided Madras state and is now in Andhra Pradesh, after Madras state was divided between Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Incidentally, Andhra Pradesh has further been divided into Andhra Pradesh with headquarters near Vijayawada and Telangana, which continues to have its headquarters at Hyderabad. CR was also the Honorable Secretary of the South India Teachers Union. This was an organization that brought under its umbrella the teachers of all schools in undivided Madras state. The C2 brought out a monthly magazine called The South Indian Teacher in English and another Balar Kalvi in Tamil. Knowing that I was jobless, CR asked me to join the union as a clerk on a salary of rupees 35 per month. The office of the union was at 520 Triplicane High Road, Triplicane Madras 5. I had to travel by tram from my house in Georgetown to the union office, which took about 45 minutes. I purchased a monthly season ticket that cost me rupees 5 4 and 4 paise. That is 5 and quarter rupee. The office had a staff of two, including me. The other employee was an elderly, semi-retired person called Subramania Iyer. He'd be in the office when I reached there at 10 in the morning. Immediately thereafter, he would go home after assigning work for me to do. He would return again after going home, doing his pujas, having lunch and a nap. He would be back around 4 or 4:30. Mainly my work was to write addresses on the envelopes for dispatching the monthly journals to the subscribers. There were nearly 6,000 such addresses to be written every month. I did my work well and to the satisfaction of my superior. The only mischief that I was doing was that as soon as he left in the morning, I would change the time on the clock in the office and advance it by at least half an hour. Virtually immediately after he had resumed work in the afternoon, my time for leaving would come. I had also set up an alarm for 5 o'clock. I am sure he had seen this game of mine, but because I was like a child and was related to the secretary, he silently tolerated me. Literally, I was alone in the office for most of my working hours. One day I was tempted to have the experience of smoking. I used to carry my lunch to work from home. After eating lunch, I went out of the office, bought a cigarette, and smoked it. After a few puffs, I felt pressure on my chest and so giddy that I got frightened and gave up the experiment there and then. To illustrate how kind the elderly lady Patta Athai was as to me, I must recall an incident. Generally, every year in Madras, there used to be two exhibitions held, one on the Teinampet Congress grounds and the other on the South India Athletics Association grounds opposite the park railway station. Those were very popular and were identified as Congress exhibition and park fair respectively. One day when the family of Patta Athai went to the exhibition, they took me with them. At the ground, I was going along with them until I came to a shop that was exhibiting small articles. I found one small leather purse, triangular in shape and attractive, so I touched it. The small leather purse of about 3 inches could be opened on either side. There was only one compartment for putting coins in it. Pattathai sensed my interest and bought it for me and gave it to me after putting in a Purana coin. In those days and in my circumstances, it was a valuable gift. More than the value, I always remember the affection with which she gave it to me. I also had one occasion when I went to their house in Bhimasana Gardens, Mylapore, a suburb in the city. In the night, I was asked to sleep on the ground floor just underneath a wall clock with a pendulum, and all their family members retired to the first floor for the night. I spent the entire night feeling lonely, but the wall clock kept me company with the sound of the pendulum and the striking every 30 minutes and on the hour. Thankfully, my salary from C2 was promptly paid. I faithfully brought the money home and gave it to my mother. She would give me monthly pocket money of rupees 2 as well as the tram's monthly season ticket of rupees 5 and 4 anna. The year in which I sat for my SSLC exam and got my first employment was the last year of British rule over India. Around that time, the present Queen of England married Prince Philip, and India was flooded with the portraits of Her Majesty and new husband. She too also received parcels containing these portraits, meant to be sent to various schools. I was fascinated by them. August 15, 1947 was a red letter day on which India got independence, which was celebrated throughout the country with great joy and enthusiasm. At the stroke of midnight, the country became a free nation and the Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru made his famous Trace to It Destiny speech. A few young men living around my house in Kural Merchant Street joined together, and at the time India became a free nation, they formed themselves into a group called the Free Indian Society. They were all very well educated youngsters just out of the college, bubbling with lot of enthusiasm. I was overawed at the spirit with which they celebrated the event. I was present on that occasion. The main members of the society were Sri Badrinath Iyer, a lawyer, and a man with extraordinary compassion and one who treated others with great affection, D.K. Subramanian, V. Ramachandran, S. R. Radhakrishnan, B. R. Kapali, D.S. Krishnamurti, and D.S. Subbarao are some of the names I can recollect. Those people were the pillars of the society. They drafted a constitution, specified the method of getting elected to the office of the society, and stipulated the duration of the office, etc. The membership fee for the society was fixed at 4 annas per month. 4 annas meant a quarter of a rupee. D.S. Krishnamurti, DSK, was kind enough to introduce me to the society and recommended me for membership. I just about 15 and was introduced to the others there as this gentleman R. Srinivasan is becoming a member of the society. Everyone there was making fun of my being called a gentleman and I felt very shy. We'll continue. Thank you very much for your patience. Request for like, share and subscribe.